My name is Richard Martin, and I'm the pastor of the New Life Seventh-day Adventist Church. And this is a slice of my life. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, the firstborn to Ricky and Vivian Martin. And my childhood was quite pleasant. Didn't come without its fair share of difficult experiences, but looking back, I'm thankful for the sacrifices that my parents made for my sisters and for me. I attended Tampa Adventist Academy from 2nd to 10th grade, and during that time I made friends for a lifetime. Was able to engage in multiple sports that provided a well-rounded experience and education so that I received not only book knowledge, but also life knowledge through team sports. It was during my teenage years when teenage decisions were being made that it became clear to me that I needed to make personal choices of my own that would have a profound impact on my future. I always wanted to go into business, to be an entrepreneur, and although this might sound very funny, growing up in Florida, not far from the beach and many amusement parks, I wanted to own my own water park. In part because I loved going to the water park, but also because the notion of being my own boss was quite attractive to me. Had it all planned out. I was going to go to business school, get a business degree, and open my own business. Until around the age of 15, in a quite pivotal conversation with my music teacher's husband. He asked, "What do you want to do?" I gave him the spiel that I had memorized quite well. And then he asked me, "Why do you want to do that?" And I wasn't able to respond as readily because I had never thought about that. And he said to me, "Don't only know what you want to do, but know why you want to do it." It was during that time where I began to develop a personal relationship with God. I'm kind of a church kid. I say humorously that I grew up in the church. I was born into the church choir. Didn't have many options when it came to church. But as many people might know, going to church and having your own personal relationship with God aren't necessarily synonymous. So during my teenage years, I began to develop that relationship, and it was in the context of that relationship that I began to sense a call to full-time ministry. Didn't have a full understanding of what that meant, but I knew that I benefited from the pastors and the leaders of my home church, and I thought that that might be something I was going to do and be fulfilled in doing it. That was clarified and enhanced when in the final 2 years of high school, I went to a faith-based academy in the hills of Pennsylvania, Pine Forge Academy. Those were 2 of the best years of my life. Developed lifelong friendships, was able to be nurtured in an environment by teachers and deans who were committed to developing an excellent character, not just in myself, but in my peers as well. And that experience, as most high schoolers can say about their high school journey, did not go without its fair share of challenges and obstacles and bumps in the roads, but with all of them came life lessons that I cherish even until today. After graduating from Pine Forge, I commenced my collegiate journey in Alabama at Oakwood University. Spent the next 5 years there, climbing the rough side of the mountain, as it were. And some of the most profound lessons that I learned there had to do not just with what I learned in class, but honestly, just the journey to school each semester was a growing experience. I'll never forget in my final year of college, we did not have all of the financial resources to fund that final class year. And it was very trying, very testing. I offered to stay home for a year, pick up a job, go to a local community college. And my parents, they weren't about it. They weren't hearing it. They said, "No, you've come this far. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure you graduate." And so traveling down from Oakwood, from home, I'll never forget my parents signed a check and they did not have the resources that they needed so that check could be legitimate. But almost every other hour, it's an 8-hour drive, almost every other hour, my mom would call me and say, "Son, you must be praying while you're driving because we are receiving calls of persons who want to contribute resources so that you can successfully clear and enter your final year." That happened almost every other hour on the entire journey down to Oakwood until by the time I arrived at Oakwood, not only did I have enough money to clear for that semester, but I had enough money to get something to eat too. And as a growing, developing college young man, anytime you had money to get something to eat, that was a blessing. Finished college, went on to do my master's at seminary, and after those 2.5 years, I began my pastoral career in 2015 as an associate pastor in the Maryland, D.C. area. And after 2 years, I transitioned to the Tidewater area of Virginia, and it was there where I commenced my solo pastoral career of the New Life Seventh-day Adventist Church. And come this May, I will celebrate 3 years there. It has been a phenomenal journey of formal education, of professional education. I've been able to develop relationships with wonderful friends who have only added to my experience. And I've been blessed to be able to contribute to the experiences of others as well, through preaching and relationship development nationally and internationally. If I had to share some lessons for the journey, not just for those who are considering a call to ministry, but those who are in transitions in life, they are pursuing dreams and aspirations, I would tell them not to aspire just for the destination, but to also experience the lessons that you can only glean on the journey. There are certain experiences that will happen on the road to where you're going that you will appreciate the destination much more because of it. Second thing I would say is to always remember it's better to live in the will of God and be questioned by men than to live in the will of men and be questioned by God. There are some things that you will be called to do specifically and uniquely that no one else may understand, but as long as you have that clarity of purpose, you'll be okay. And then finally, have fun. Life is too short to always walk around without a smile on your face. Learn to laugh at life, laugh at yourself, and I believe that life will be much better because of it. I'm looking forward to what the future holds. I'm a young man who is still at the beginning of his journey, and I'm excited based on what has been for what is coming.